A comment I read a lot beneath the breakup videos on this channel is something like, "I can't stop ruminating about him," or "It's been 6 months and I still think about her all the time." So in this video, I'd like to explain why that happens after breakups and what you can do to finally stop thinking about your ex. First, let's look at why we ruminate after breakups. And I think what most people would say is something like, well, I need to figure it out. I need to know what happened, why we broke up, what I could have done differently, and what to do now. These are all relevant questions that need answers. I wouldn't call finding answers to these questions rumination, but processing and grieving. However, processing can turn into rumination if you keep going over the same things, if you keep asking the same questions, if you keep coming back to the starting point as if you hadn't thought about it before, or if you hang around in memories in a way that prolongs your grieving because part of you doesn't want to stop thinking about your ex. If any of that is the case, there are unconscious emotional things going on behind the curtain of your awareness. That could be wanting to maintain your connection to your ex. It feels like as long as you're still thinking about them, you're still connected. Unconsciously, you might still want to hold on or even repair the relationship. In the logic of emotions, you might be driven to replay the past in your mind in an unconscious hope that that could somehow fix things and bring your ex back. Unconsciously, you might be resisting the reality of the breakup, resisting opening yourself up to that reality. And by staying stuck in your mind, you can continue avoiding your feelings of grief or sadness. You might be idealizing your ex and/or the relationship to maintain your obsession. This means your mind shines a light on your ex that makes him look like the perfect and only right match for you. You might be downplaying, denying the issues that were actually there. Another reason you might unconsciously be motivated to ruminate is as a response to guilt. If you feel guilty for something you did in the relationship, unconsciously it might feel like atonement to continue ruminating. Or if your sense of self-worth was damaged in the relationship, you might ruminate in an attempt to feel good about yourself and your importance again. As a first step to breaking free from rumination about your ex, take note of what the unconscious drive to ruminate is for you. What is rumination helping you achieve or avoid? Is that worth it? Is maintaining a bond in your mind worth not being able to heal and move on to form a new bond? Is maintaining an idealized perspective on your ex worth not being able to fall in love with someone new? The goal of asking these questions is to build a resolve in you that no, none of that is worth it, so that you'll then be 100% motivated to really let go. Next, I'll share some practical things you can do to support yourself in this process. Number 1, allow yourself to grieve. Before emphasizing moving on, allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel the pain of your loss. Allow yourself to cry. Crying is soothing for the nervous system. Allow yourself to feel the meaning of the breakup. This is not comfortable, in fact, incredibly painful, but necessary for healthy emotional processing. If you try to skip over this step, you'll reinforce avoidant patterns, which means eventually losing contact to your emotions more and more. Ways to support yourself when grieving are to journal about it, to take some time every day to put words about your inner experience onto paper. Opening up to and sharing with friends is also helpful, and of course also professional mental health support. Number 2, find fixed answers to practical questions. If you still have things to resolve or clarify with your ex, write down solutions and answers to these questions, or where you're at in the process of finding those solutions and answers. Give yourself a time limit for how long you will think about these questions every day and stick to it. Differentiate between healing mode and problem-solving mode, and don't be in problem-solving mode longer than your time limit. I suggest 30 minutes. And when you are in that mode of problem solving, sit down at your desk, take notes, research, and try to move practical considerations along. And when you're in healing mode, don't linger on these questions. Focus on activities that help you heal, like movement and exercise, mindfulness and grounding exercises. Set goals that help you focus your attention onto the present and future. Create routines that affirm your identity as someone who is independent from your ex and someone who is healing and moving on. Number 3, rephrase negative thoughts. Whenever a thought comes up that makes you feel heavier, tense, stressed, see if and what you can change about that thought so you're able to feel more grounded. You don't have to believe everything you think. And when a thought comes up that has negative consequences on your emotions, see how you can rephrase it. For example, when the thought comes up, I ruined everything, rephrase it to, we both made mistakes in the relationship and I'm doing my part to learn from it so I don't repeat them in the next relationship. Or if the thought comes up, I can't bear all this pain, rephrase it to, this pain is very uncomfortable and I'm willing and able to feel it. Number 4, let thoughts pass by. Sometimes, even though you've tried rephrasing a thought several times, it can still keep popping up. And instead of then arguing with it, you can try another strategy of just acknowledging it non-judgmentally and letting it move on without stopping whatever you're doing to argue or ruminate. I have 2 videos on this channel in which I explain how this works in detail. I'll add the links to them in the top right corner up here. In short, you can start by labeling your thoughts as thoughts. So when the thought, I ruined everything, comes up, instead of believing it, sticking with it, and then suffering, you can say, I'm having the thought, I ruined everything. This creates a healthy distance between you and your thoughts, which makes it easier to be less dominated by them. Thoughts aren't facts, they're just thoughts. And labeling them as such makes it easier to stay aware of that. You could also say something like, here's that thought again. This also works for visual images that pop up, like memories if you're someone who thinks and remembers in a visual way. So if an inner picture comes up of something from the past, from your relationship, remind yourself, this belongs in the past. I'm letting go of this relationship and moving on. In my cognitive diffusion videos, which is what this skill is called, I also explain how you can practice the skill of observing your thoughts passing through your inner world, practicing also when it's outside of an instance in which a thought comes up that you typically ruminate about. That way you strengthen your general ability to feel this distance between thoughts. Number 5, redirect your focus. After you've rephrased or diffused from a thought, you can turn your attention back to the present moment. Focus on whatever is important to you in that moment, your goals, your values, who you want to be, and how you can express that in that moment. Redirect your focus from rumination to a more helpful thing to focus on. You don't have to struggle with or fight rumination or try to make it go away in an absolute sense. It's not about winning a fight against unhelpful thoughts, but about redirecting your focus onto helpful ones and repeating that whenever necessary. Don't judge or criticize yourself when unhelpful thoughts resurface. Notice them non-judgmentally, matter-of-factly. Here it is again, this thought. No wonder. This breakup was a shattering experience for me. At the same time, I don't want to stick to this thought. I'll just let it move on and refocus my attention to creating a fulfilling life in the present, whatever that means for now. Okay, I talked about a lot, so let me sum it up. Start by strengthening your resolve to actually move on and remind yourself of what you have to gain. A good life is waiting for you. All you have to do is move through this pain. Allow for natural grieving and problem solving. And whenever that turns into rumination or unhelpful thoughts pop up, rephrase them, defuse from them, and redirect your focus onto creating healing in the present and for the future. All the best for that. Till next time, take care. And remember, you can build a meaningful and fulfilling future by small actions towards healing every day. And although it probably doesn't feel like that right now, a lot of happy moments are waiting for you in the future. eventually.